Okay. I think maybe we should get started. What do you think? Is everybody ready to get started? And want to thank everyone for joining us today. And my name is Deb Clinton, and I'm going to pass it over to my colleague, Alexandra Rodriguez, and she's going to start the presentation off. Thank you.
Thank you, Deb. Good day, everyone. Thanks for joining us for today's session. As Deb said, my name is Alexandra, and I'm the Money Counselor at the Mo Money Financial Literacy Resource Center. So the Mo Money Financial Literacy Resource Center and the Mohawk College Alumni Association, in partnership with the Canadian Foundation of Economic Education and the National Bank of Canada, have created a series of Mohawk College student-facilitated financial literacy webinars titled Wealthing Wednesdays. Welcome to the fourth webinar of the series, The Future of Work and Your Career. This session is delivered from my home in Hamilton, Ontario, on land very close to Mohawk College. So I like to take this opportunity to acknowledge that my home and the college are situated on the traditional and unceded territory of the Haudenosaunee and Anishinaabe nations within the lands protected by the Dish with One Spoon, One Spoon Agreement, and is currently home to many Indigenous people from across Turtle Island. Mo Money is here to help. At Mo Money, we are committed to helping students improve their money skills. To accomplish this goal, we host events, workshops like this one, and we also offer individual appointments where you can meet with me and talk about your specific financial situation. We have also developed some financial resources to support students in their path to develop financial literacy skills. One of those resources is the Money Matters module. This is a free course that you can find in My Canvas. That module will give you the opportunity to learn more about budgeting, managing debt, starting a business, big purchases like cars and houses, and much more. We have many ways that you can get involved with Mo Money. You can see some of them in this slide. You can follow us on social media. We are on Instagram and Facebook. You can obviously complete the Money Matters module in My Canvas, and you can join us for more events. Just go into our webpage, mohawkcollege.ca, Mo Money, and you can find all the information about the next events and workshops that we have planned for you. What are the benefits of attending our workshops? So the first one is the co-curricular record. So the co-curricular record, CCR, is a tool for students to track this experience or any program or event not formally related to a program of study. So the CCR can be used on and off campus when applying for jobs, awards, and scholarships, and to build resumes. Just like an academic transcript, the co-curricular record is verified and approved by Mohawk College staff. The CCR is then stamped and signed by the Vice President, Students, International, and Alumni to acknowledge a students' non-academic contributions to their campus and community. The CCR can be downloaded and attached to an application to draw attention to demonstrated skills and experiences. So don't forget to register your attendance. We're gonna leave you the link in the chat and enter the code MoMoney4Me. The second benefit is you have some chances to win prizes. So CFE has been very generous in offering a chance for participating students to be entered into a draw to win a 100 gift card from Tim Hortons. Also, if you attend 4 out of 5 of our Wealth in Wednesday sessions, your name will be entered into a draw to win $250 cash. Finally, if you attend 4 out of 5 of our Wealth in Wednesday sessions, you will be eligible for a financial advocacy badge. Now, I'm going to pass it over to Lindsay from the Mohawk College Alumni Association, who's going to share with you some important information about the association.
Thank you very much. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. My name is Lindsay Diamond, pronoun she, her, and I work for the Alumni Relations Office as a Career Transition and Development Coordinator. The Alumni Association is your link to the Mohawk College community after you graduate. You can connect with alumni on all of our social media platforms, as you can see on the screen right here, as well as follow us on our website, so mohawkcollege.ca/alumni. As a student or a graduate of Mohawk College, you are welcome to participate in all of our events. We host a wide range of events, such as social events like trivia nights and tea tasting, career development workshops and webinars, personal development webinars, and much more. Next slide, please. I would like to pass it over to our student facilitator, Samuel Morrison, and the CFE staff for the future of work in your career. Enjoy the webinar today.
Samuel, I think you're on mute.
Hello, everyone. Can you see my screen and hear me now?
Yes.
Perfect.
Yes. So again, welcome again to this event, which is help managing your money on campus. And this particular session is the future of work and your career. A little bit about myself. My name is Samuel Morrison, originally from Ghana, and I grew up there, later went to Germany to study, and I just came to Canada last year, and I'm a student like you guys over there. And as I'm also a student, I have the opportunity to share this presentation with you. So that's a little bit about me. As you can see somewhere up there, I'm studying business analysis in Mohawk. And so what is this workshop about? The future of work and your career. As you can see, the main essence of this workshop is to help support and give financial education. One thing about me that you should know is that when I'm talking, sometimes I stammer sometimes. So if there's a break when I'm talking and I stammer, I'm a bit nervous, so you should understand. And so it will make me stammer a bit. But other than that, everything should be fine. So again, why is CFEE? That's the Canadian Foundation of Economic Education with the National Bank of Canada and Mohawk doing this. We want to support students on campus with financial education, because we all know that we live in a complex world now. At most points in our lives, we've come across where we have to either use a debit card, a credit card. Some of us had to get loans to come to school and stuff. So at one point in our lives, we've had our fair deal of finances, and we know that it's important, and that's why we are doing this. So why are we here today? We want to help you understand the workforce, what's happening now, because as you know, because of the pandemic that happened, there's a change that's happening. So we want to help you understand the changes that are occurring, and then to make you comfortable to meet the challenges that these changes will bring. And when you are comfortable, what it will do is that you'll be able to adapt to the opportunities that may arise out of this. What are we going to talk about today? Today's session is going to be divided in 3 parts. We are first going to talk about the 4th Industrial Revolution, the future of work, and careers of the future. So what we are going to do is that after each session, there's going to be just about a minute or 2 break. So if there's a point you don't understand, or if you have a question on your mind, or you want to share something, we will open the platform and you can do that. So after each session, these 3 sessions, you should be able to do that. And with that, let's get right in. So the 4th industrial revolution, artificial intelligence and automation. Oh my, what is artificial intelligence? What is the 4th revolution? Does any of you have an idea? So I'm asking a question to you guys with me, if you can turn on your mic. Do any of you have an idea what the first industrial revolution was? Just like a 30-second, can someone just let me know? Anyone has an idea what the first industrial revolution was? Yeah. So we are in the 4th industrial revolution. We've been through a first and a second phase and a third. Do you have an idea? Well, if no one is going, I would go ahead. The first industrial revolution was the invention of the steam engine. That happened around the 1700s. Before that, there was not a lot of big inventions that had happened. You know, we were just going around our business, getting food, and then we eat. And then the steam engine was invented, and that led to a massive transformation in the world. So we were able to transport goods and services and the food from one end to the other part of the land. And the second industrial revolution, as you can see, is the invention of electricity. That opened up industries. And so with the founding of electricity, industries were opened. We had a lot of big companies that could now invent things and use machines to do things. And gradually getting to the 1800s, 1900s, 1970, there was a third revolution that was computing, the invention of computers. And now, as with the pandemic, I'm able to use a computer to do a presentation to you over wherever you are, at your home or your office. And gradually, we are in the phase of the 4th industrial revolution, and that's what we are going to talk about. The 4th industrial revolution is on AI, artificial intelligence, what we normally shorten as AI. And it's the automation, it's based on things that are going to be done in an automated way. We are going to have a lot of robots and self-driving cars and all those things. Many of you will think that AI is far off, but just a simple question. If you've ever had to use a Google Home device, or you know, on Apple, you have this Hey Siri, you can just ask, hey Siri, what's the weather and stuff. Or even Amazon has the Amazon Alexa platform. If you've ever had to use any of this, then you've definitely interacted with AI before. And so gradually we are in the phase of AI. And the interesting thing is that the pandemic has really, made us move fast into this revolution. And there's an important quote by Milton Friedman. He's a Nobel Prize winner for economics. And what he said, we thought was quite interesting. So he's quoted to say, only in a crisis, whether it's actual or perceived, whether you think it's real or not, but only in a crisis, actual or perceived, produces real change. And when that crisis occurs, actions that are taken depend on the ideas that are laying around. And this quote is very important. You see it play eventually in the presentation. So I think we have a short poll coming up, if you can already see it. What do you think of? You should be seeing a poll right now on your screen. What do you think of when you hear the word automation? Just think about it. When you hear the word automation, what do you think? Are you seeing the polls? When you think of automation, when you hear of the word automation, what do you think?
Yeah, we'll give this about 20 more seconds, Samuel. We've got roughly what half people have answered, so we'll give it a little bit longer.
Okay.
Samuel, do you see the results?
Yes, I do.
Perfect.
Yes, so it's interesting. I'm seeing the results when you, what do you think of when you hear the word automation? So I think the highest percentage we have is there will be new opportunities. That's nice. The second highest was your job will be lost. Well, I hope my job it's not lost, and I hope yours is not lost, but definitely some jobs will be lost. And surprisingly, few people think that they are excited about the future. However, no one voted that they are worried about the future. That's fairly good to know that at least we are not worried about the future, but we believe per the polls that there will be new opportunities. So let's look at what's happening now. Let's see what automation is happening right now. The bank RBC, Royal Bank of Canada, many of you may know it here in Canada, they did a statistics, and this is the results they found out. So they found out that the hospitality and the food industry, they are seeing the biggest automation risk across that industry. And then it moves to the manufacturing and industry and healthcare and in educational services. When I saw this poll preparing for the presentation, it made me think, how is it that healthcare and education have the lowest automation risk there, and hospitality and food? Then I had to go back and think about, okay, have I ever encountered automation elsewhere? And I would share some things with you. So as I said, I ended up going to Europe for studies. And when I was traveling around Europe, I found out that at certain parts, when I book into hotels, there was not anyone there, who would give you your hotel card. So in certain places in Germany, when you book online, you go, it's just a screen, and then you enter your PIN word, and a key card comes, and it shows you your room is on the 3rd floor. You use this elevator. This is your password, and you take your key and go. And so personally, I have seen this automation happening around the hospitality industry. And food, how is it happening? Maybe you've seen it happening also there. Again, in the hospitality industry, I've gone to a sushi bar. I don't know if you guys have been to, where no waiter or waitress came to me. The menu, they gave me an iPad, which was on the desk, and I had to pick the menu. And it came on, those tables that go around. And so you can see that automation is really happening in the manufacturing field. I think even Mohawk on the Stony Creek campus, they have this lab where when you go, you see this robotic arms that are able to pick and do things. And so indeed, automation is really happening across industries. And it just so happens that the health industry and the educational service, it's seeing the least rate of automation risk. So how is automation different today than the old, when electricity was invented? One of the biggest ways that automation is different now is that it's affecting the way we live. In the old, when Henry Ford invented the cars and was using electricity with the arms, what happens was automation was affecting the way we work more. But now we are more concerned that AI is there to improve the way we live. And so today's automation is broadly sorted in 3 categories. We have the data automation, which is mainly focused in replacing manual tasks. And we have the physical automation, which would also replace repetitive tasks, and self-automation. That's the third one. So self-automation is like what I said. When I went to the hotel, no one had to serve me. Now I had to serve myself. I had to input the thing myself. When I went to the sushi bar, the last time I went there, the table was going around. You pick on the tablet the food you want. And so that's a self-automation. And so the automation happening now is affecting the way we live. If you look at the picture in the on your screen, what do you think which part of the 3 categories would you think that the robot is fulfilling? We have the data automation that deals with data extraction, physical automation, and self-automation. So probably some of you may guess the robot in the image is definitely there to collect data from you, because it will ask you, hey, what's your name, which room are you in, and probably to do the self-automation, because there would probably be someone standing there who would always do the same task over and over. Artificial intelligence meets human intelligence. Business as usual is over. So on this screen, you see currently some of the AI influences that are happening around. We all, as I said, Alexa, Siri, and all those. We have smart homes technologies, and we have the virtual realities, those things that you can wear on your head and you see things in augmented reality. And again, there's this cryptocurrency thing, that's trend that's happening around. I believe many of us have heard it. That is also part of the new phase of the fourth industrial revolution, AI, that's built on the blockchain. And so what you should know is that digitization is an opportunity for us all. Whether we like it or not, it is happening. And so you have to be aware of it. And to do so, we need to think about society in different ways as we used to. Above all, what we want you to do is to gain an understanding of work and labor. And so coming to the end of the first session, which is just making you aware that we are in the fourth industrial revolution, which is based mainly AI now being part of us. Now we even know of the car, Tesla, that is able to, talk to you and help you drive better. And since they started, I've seen the new models of Ford also be doing that. And so we know that work is drastically changing. And as we now know, humans can augment technology and automation is everywhere. So with that, I would just 1 or 2 minutes break. If any of you will have a comment or anything you don't understand, you can definitely ask just a minute or two. And then if we can help you understand, we'll definitely do that. So the floor is open if you have anything that's not clear, or even your experience with the fourth industrial revolution, kindly share with us for just a minute and then we'll move on.
Yeah, and if you have any comments, probably easiest just to use the chat. Samuel, the way it works on the microphones is they're all turned off right now. And I would have to, like, if somebody would like to add a comment, I could turn the microphone on, but we'd have to go through one by one. So if folks have questions for Samuel or comments, please use the chat at the bottom of the screen.
Okay, so yeah, as he said, if you have any comments or question, you can use the chat. And just to mention on your screen, I'm sure you'd also see between between chat and new share, you should see a Q&A. You should have a Q&A tab somewhere. If you have any questions, you can use that feature. You can click and type any question and we will see it. And also if you have any comments, you can type it in the chat and we will see it. Oh, okay, so someone wrote, in the pharmacy department, robotics are taking the responsibility of dispensing some medicine. Wow. So that's interesting. I mean, I haven't seen it personally, but I can actually, it makes sense, right? So you go, you already have your prescription and now it's not people standing behind the counter. There are robots who would have the responsibility of doing that. That's someone's experience who shared with us. Anyone else have any experience with AI or the automation process? Okay, if not, we will move. What is the host name? If you want my name is Samuel Morrison. So that's a question someone. My name is Samuel Morrison. I'm a business analysis student in Mohawk, a graduate program. Welcome, Clara. Yeah, that's my name. And so yeah, we move on to the second part. You can still keep the comments coming in the chat section. And if you have any questions, like I said, there is a Q&A part in the list. You can type it in and we will see it. Okay, someone said in Walmart, they've seen that the cleaning process, they are now using robots to clean. So it's not human beings just holding the mop and using the floor. But you see, so subconsciously we see these things, but we are not fully aware. So one of the key essence of this workshop is to draw your attention is that, look, it is happening. So we are in the fourth industrial revolution. It is happening. Okay. I will come back to the chat later. Let's move on. So we are in the second part. You can continue sharing your ideas or comments in the chat. We'll come back to read them. And if you have questions, again, there's a Q&A tab. Then now that we know that we are in the fourth industrial revolution, how is the future of work going to be like? So again, I think this statistics is from IBC, and they found out that 85% of jobs in 2030 have not yet been created. That's a huge number. I could not even believe that something like this is there. It's crazy. And so I later, again, think back and look back, and we'll get deeper into this. What is the future of work? We've all agreed that work is being disrupted now. The ability to apply analytics and demographic impact. Let's get right in. So we know that disruption lies ahead. Like you guys shared with me, now when you go to certain pharmacies, they are thinking of using robots if they haven't already started. Someone mentioned Walmart has already using some robots to clean. So that's the disruption that is that lies ahead of us, and that is being pushed forward again by the pandemic, and we have a lot of robots and everything. So there is a huge disruption that is happening. And there's this graph that we found that is very interesting. I'd like to share with you. And so this is the graph. So at the current moment, this is where we are. This is our working output, the outcomes. This is where we are at the moment. And this is our potential value, what we really can do and we should be able to do. What is going to happen is that we are in this phase where we are redesigning jobs and trying to inculcate AI into our way of life. When that happens, it's going to push the potential of us deep down on the right. And it's going to make our work very dynamic. Now, it's not going to be just going to stand on a chain line and just shifting things. Eventually, they are going to have robots doing that. So they would need jobs that is very dynamic. You have to think on your feet, and it will be very difficult for robots to do. So that's what you should be aware of. And this is a video that we think that it fairly talks about what we are discussing today. And I believe it will be useful for all of us to play it. So I would play it for us and let's see.
The future. Are you excited or are you worried? Because the next 20 years will bring more change than the previous 300.
Sorry.
The future. Are you excited or are you worried? Because the next 20 years will bring more change than the previous 300 years. Technology is rebooting the very idea of work. How we work, when we work, where we work, and sooner or later, why we work. Computers are no longer stupid. They're watching, they're listening, they're speaking, they're learning, and they may even be thinking. Science fiction is becoming science fact, and the end of routine work is only one of the outcomes. So how much of your work is routine? The searching, invoicing, filing, organizing, checking, updating, monitoring. Need I go on? Rest assured, anything that can be automated, digitized, or virtualized will be. This is as certain as music is in the cloud, cars are driving themselves, and money is going digital. Automation is reducing the need for road and manual labor everywhere. And smart machines will soon do the knowledge work as well. Blue collar, white collar, whatever color your work is, it is going to be disrupted. Over the next 15 years, every technological limitation will virtually vanish. Imagine virtually unlimited processing power, global access to real-time data, machines that can move around like we do, quantum leaps in battery technology, and then even faster breakthroughs in artificial intelligence and deep learning. Clearly, competing with such powerful machines on their turf has no future. Working like a robot has no future. Learning like a robot has no future. It's a recipe for permanent unemployment. When artificial intelligence meets human intelligence, it's the end of routine as we know it. But take heart. This is not the end of our jobs, it's not the end of our work, it's not the end of our purpose. Rather, a new age of human-only work is beginning. Let's be honest, few of us enjoy menial work and boring routines, even if we may like the security that comes with jobs like this. You know, increased automation is a certainty in all industries, but very few jobs are 100% automatable, 100% routine. Humans can easily deal with unforeseen events, complex challenges requiring judgment, intuition, and improvisation. Whatever is easy for a computer is hard for humans, and vice versa. This will be true for the foreseeable future. Yes, there is a life beyond automation, but only if we are prepared and if we work together. Only if governments start to plan for the kind of education and training we need, and provided we can have a serious conversation about if and how we should tax automation.
So I'm sorry for the abrupt cut, but just to give you an idea what is happening. As you saw in the video, automation is really happening. Automation is happening. And so just in the second part of this presentation, the future of work, you can see, these are some few things, the 6 major things that you need to know to work about for the future, just like we saw in the future. We will start from the second point. Math is a big thing. Now they need people who are very good with math, because with that you can follow analytics. You know, for every video you watch on Facebook, for every video you watch on YouTube, subconsciously they are gathering data behind that. They need people who can interpret these data. And the interesting thing that's happening is that now firms want to be a bit flexible. What that means is that the change in skills is very interesting. So they want people who are very adapt and flexible to be able to do one role, but have the skills for the next one, and you can be very flexible and move. And as we all know by now, digital AI is non-negotiable, especially with the pandemic that happened. That's what's happening. Everything has to be on a digital platform, and that's where we are heading to. And the 3 C's, these are very, very crucial. Even some of my mates are here studying the business analysis course in Mohawk. What we've learned over and over again is that companies and firms hire people for their technical skills, but you are kept and probably promoted about your human relation skills. And those are the 3 C's. What are the 3 C's? The ability to think in a critical way. So the first C is the critical thinking, and then to be able to communicate what you want to tell people. So now, even if you're a scientist and you're not able to explain your ideas to people, that's a problem. And the third one is being able to work with people. So be able to collaborate. So that's the 3 C's: critical thinking, communication, and collaboration. These 3 are very crucial. And the last point is now, I mean, it's happening, right? We want to be flexible. Companies and everyone wants to be able to be mobile, to move here and there. So this is how the future of work is going to be. Analytics and data is trending. Firms want people who can flexible and move to different roles and have the 3 C's: critical thinking, communication, be a team player. It's very vital. And so this is just a graph showing the current workforce. The summary, just go through for you. The summary of this graph is that these are millennials, and those are the people born between the late 80s to 2000. You would see that they are gradually the biggest people in the workforce right now. And all the other ones, the boomers and Gen X, they are gradually dropping, but the millennials are the biggest workforce. And what are our characteristics? I would explain. So the builders, the builders are kind of on pension. There are people born between 1925 to 1945. And this was their aim, to have a good dream. It was their time that a car became a norm. And their ideal leader is an authoritarian person. And their attitude towards work was for life. They would stick to one job for life. And that is similar for the baby boomers. The majority of them born between 1946 to 1965. They would want job security and they would want to be in it. Again, for Gen X, the majority of their attitude towards work was work-life balance. For jobs security, just something funny. My father is in that group, and yesterday was his last day at work. He just went on pension yesterday. And so I was talking to him yesterday. And the funny thing is, he had never done any job apart from one job. He stayed in one industry. So he took a job for life. And looking at this graph, you see, he took one job for life. He was an immigration officer in my country. And you see that he was really stayed in one job for over 34, going 35 years. So I myself, I am in the Gen Y, and the Gen Y are people born between 1981 to 2000. And if you, it was during our time that smartphone, became a thing. And so it's our norm. Almost every one of us has a smartphone. Our ideal leader is someone who would work with us, who would be a team player. We don't want someone who just wants to come and tell us do this, and want someone who's a team player. And you'll be surprised, even if you are in my generation group, Gen Y, born between 81 to 2000, subconsciously, we are more concerned about having a bit of freedom. We don't want to work every day 9 to 5. We want a bit of flexibility, being able to have some time for our family and friends. And then the upcoming ones, the Gen Z, those born in the 2000, from 2001 to 2020, I mean, these kids are born with a phone in their hand. You see a baby in a baby cart and is holding a tablet, an iPad, as even before they can even talk, they know how to use computers. And think about it, these are the people who are going to lead the workforce in the next 20 years. So there's definitely AI there, and that's what is important for them. And so that's also causing a shift in the mindset for employers, because they know this, they are studying this trend and they are aware of it. So now employees are engaging employees in lifelong learning. So now in almost every organization, that it's like very fast moving. Let's say in about every given number of years, there's an opportunity to go and upgrade your skills and gain certain knowledge and stuff. And it has forced even colleges like Mohawk and others to have this continuing education platform. So that's for people who are already in the working field or qualified to be in the working field, but they need to up their skills. And that's what is happening. So employees also want to have someone who would not just come and work, but you fit in their culture. You have the social intelligence to be a team player, to understand what's happening, and to create now we don't work, this is my boss, I can't talk to him. We work in the network platform. That's what is happening. That's the shift that's going to stay. And again, like mentioned, employees want someone who is flexible. So you're able to facilitate and collaborate across different platforms. And I've worked in the post office warehouse before, an Amazon warehouse, and it's more important to just go there and do what you have to do and leave. What's happening now that eventually they are not going to be bothered about you staying to work in 9 to 5 or so, but they are more concerned about the result you bring. Okay, given this number of hours, what can you do? And then once you are done, you'll be free. And so that is how the future of work is going to be. That's the second part of this session. And the key takeaways, as we mentioned, 80% of jobs are not yet created. And there are more creative work that's going to be in the future. We don't want repetitive work, but creative work. And the third one is the 3 C's: communication, collaboration, critical thinking. Again, the chats are open, we'll go through. What is your experience? What do you think? Do you think that really there are jobs that are going to be created that are not there yet in 2020? Once you guys can access the chat, let me share something with you. So think about it. About 10, 15 years ago, there was nothing as dominant as YouTube or Netflix or Instagram. In just this number of years, I just went online to research the number of people that earn money from YouTube, and they are more than 400 million. So over 400 million have quit their job. YouTube is their full-time job. Some are data scientists, doctors, Ali Abdaal, if you guys know him. There are a lot of people who now, just because of computing and the internet, they stay home and they work on YouTube, and it fits into what we've discussed. So the internet created new jobs, and now we need people who are more creative. And so the creative, there's people who can take videos, pictures. That's what is happening. And not only that, they are able to communicate their results, their pictures, their videos in YouTube videos and Netflix and what's so not. And that's what is happening now. So you have to be aware of the future of work. Before we move on to this part, the chat is open just for a minute or two. What is your experience with the future of work? What do you think? Do you know someone who quit his or her job to, do something on YouTube or become a TikTok influencer or any of those? Now there we have, the taxis are not even now as they used to be. We are more used to calling an Uber or a Lyft or whatnot. These are jobs that are just pushed because of the fourth industrial revolution we are in. The internet brought all these things, imagine. And recently there was this talk about 5G, we moving in the 5G. If 4G brought YouTube, Instagram, Lyft, whatnot, Google and Amazon, imagine what 5G and AI is going to bring. In the amount of careers that are going to be open, you have no idea. So the chats are open. Just a minute if you have any experience with someone of the future of work, how his work has been. So let's see what we have in the chat. Okay, so yeah, talking about the robotics, yes, someone again worked in the radiology or has an exposure to the radiology department, and is also sharing that now they are using a robot to detect abnormal things on X-rays. So the chats are open. What are your experience or exposures with the future of work? I personally, I'm thinking maybe I should start something on social media. I should start. I'm not very active on social media, but maybe it's about something. Yeah, I'm checking the comment. Yeah, so maybe for next couple of let's say by the end of my course is in 10. So at the end of the program, I may start a YouTube channel as a business analyst, because that's the future of work. So you have to think about it. Someone is surprised 2000 is years ago. Yes, the year 2000 is just 21 years ago. Am I right? It's over 20 years. There was nothing like social media manager just 20 years ago. And now if you're a company and you don't have a social media manager, you are behind. You need to be active on the platforms. What even surprised me was that even Apple as a company has a YouTube channel. When I discovered that, I was shocked. Apple has a YouTube channel. Google has a YouTube channel. So that's what is happening now. And with that, we would move to, okay, I see that people are in the chat. Cryptocurrency will change the currency system. Yes, someone is talking about cryptocurrency. It's interesting that you mentioned that, because again, if you remember the quote by Milton Friedman that I said, it's all when crisis happen, is the ideas that are lying around. So cryptocurrencies has been around us for a while, but because of the pandemic and how the big players in the financial industries are misbehaving, gradually a lot of us, the millennials and the Gen Z, we are looking at cryptocurrency and blockchain as a technology. And a lot of the older folks rather unfortunately think that, oh, what's this? It's just something that will pass by. But you should remember, around 1999 to 2000, that's what we thought about Google, the internet, and Apple. We thought it's just a thing that would pass by. And now they are the biggest companies in the world. So yes, that is how work is going to be. So with that, let's see now, how is the careers of the future going to be like? How is the career of the future going to be like? What do you think are the skills you need to identify and acquire? Let's get right into that. So we are in the third session, which is the ending part of this. And let's see. So first, we're going to just discuss about the skills we need to require, the development, how you develop those skills and how you can apply those skills. And as a short video, I would like to just play for all of us to play.
Once upon a time, business as usual was often good enough. No more. Where we are going, good enough is dead. In a world where everything is connected, where everything is equally excellent, where performance is reaching perfection, there's only one space left to innovate in: you. Right now, you are a central point in the raging tornado of change fueled by digitization, mobilization, augmentation, disintermediation, automation. Well, the list goes on. Science fiction is becoming science fact. Think about self-driving cars or computers that can learn and think. The way we work will never be the same. The skills we need will be dramatically different. Winning or losing are now happening faster than ever before. So what's your response? How will you discover new opportunities in one of the most transformational times in human history? Are you driving change or are you being driven by it? Disruption has become the new normal. With change, it's always gradually, then suddenly, well, things really have stopped happening gradually. This change is exponential. Everything that used to be dumb and disconnected is now wired and intelligent. Cars, cities, ports, farms, even our bodies will be wired with sensors and will talk to each other. These game changers are also combinatorial. They amplify each other, creating a perfect storm of change. Quantum computing fuels big data. The Internet of Things fuels artificial intelligence and deep learning, which fuels robotics. However, anything that cannot be digitized or automated will become extremely valuable. Human-only traits such as creativity, imagination, intuition, emotion, and ethics will be even more important in the future, because machines are very good at simulating, but not at being. Yes, robots and software will do some of our work, but this will allow us to focus on things that cannot be automated. To imagine change squared, you've got to start engaging more with what might be, not just with what is. Immerse yourself in the immediate future, 5 to 7 years out from today. We need to go beyond technology and data to reach human insights and wisdom. Technology represents the how of change, but humans represent the why. The future is about holistic business model. The opportunity is to be liquid, to learn just in time, not just in case, not single improvements, but complete transformations, not individual systems, but new ecosystems. Humanity is where true and lasting value is created. We will engage, relate, and buy things because of the experiences they provide, because of their transformative power. The future doesn't just happen, the future gets happened. The new way to work is to embrace technology, but not to become it. The future is in technology, yet the bigger future lies in transcending it. Let's live and lead from here.
Yes. So welcome back from the short video. And I'm sure you saw what the video was about and what that you as a person are the center of transformation. Don't become the transformation. And just in the comment section, someone mentioned about how the crisis of International Monetary Fund paper, and now how we are moving towards online payments. That's interesting because now I think that online payment is a thing. Like I think most of us do our banks on our phone. I use an online bank that I use Tangerine, and they're Simply Financial. They don't even have a branch. And so long as they meet the financial requirements of the state, a lot of us do banking online. So just to make you aware what is happening now. Again, digitization will transform the future of work and increase the demand for highly skilled and diverse workforce. So what's going to happen is that we are not going to do repetitive tasks again, but we need to be creative and know how you'll be diverse. And so what skills do you think you need to thrive in the new wave that we are moving on? What skills that do you think you need in the new economy? So over the course of this workshop, you've probably heard the word creativity a lot of times. You have to be creative. Another thing is just the video we just watched, he spoke about being human. What does that mean? It means that to have feelings towards people, to be very, to have empathy towards other human beings. That is going to be very crucial because robots can't do that. The chat, don't forget, the chat is open. You can put your comments there. Let's have a discussion. I'll read them out. We'll talk about it. So any idea you have, you can put them in the chat session. And there's a Q&A tab also. If you have any question that you would like us to talk or dive deeper in, you can put them in the questions tab. It's on the same line that the chat is. Now, what are the top 10 skills for the next decade? As we've all been learning so far, this was even from the World Economic Forum. They did research where they were in contact with a lot of the huge companies and big industries. And this is the top 10 that came out. So they need people who can solve complex problems, which means you have to think critically. And creativity, again, comes out again. And again, the big C's are in the top 5. People management, knowing how to manage people and coordinate and collaborate with people. And to do that, you need emotional intelligence. You have to understand where someone is coming from, backgrounds, culture, all those things. Judgment and decision making. You have to be very fast and know how to make judgment. Service orientation. Service is going to be a big deal. If all repetitive tasks are being taken over, service is going to be huge. Now, government institutes like CRA, Canada Revenue Authority, need more people on the phone as service personnel to help us or guide through. And negotiation, being able to talk your point throughout with another person to get to a desired point, and cognitive flexibility. These are some of the top 10 skills that we may need or we will need for the next decade. So just a quick survey. What skill do you already have? Again, from this top skill, what skill do you already have from this? I'm sure you are seeing it on your screen. What skill do you already have? It should pop, the polls are on your screen. What skill do you already have? We have complex problem solving, critical thinking, creativity, people management, and so forth.
Yeah, we're starting to see interest roll in here, Samuel, so we'll give another 30 seconds. This one has a bit more to it. Folks can choose multiple answers, so let them keep answering.
Okay.
Okay, there.
Wow. Yeah, the polls are in. Let's see. It looks like it's fairly balanced. So a lot of, I think the highest one, well, some of the voters said they have judgment and decision making. So the highest was 60%. So just judgment, emotional intelligence, and critical thinking. So these are in the top elite. And I think the lowest, let's talk about the level, cognitive flexibility. Being able to move from one point of view or one skill to another, be able to flex your brain. And that's had the lowest, but I think that we might be underestimating that we are very flexible in our cognitive abilities. And so what we are just trying to do is make you aware of the skill that we need to have, what we already have, and what maybe we should work towards, so that's why we are doing this, just so you have an idea. Now, what skill do you need to develop? Now that you know the skills you have, what skills do you need to develop for the future? Now that you know the AI is the fourth industrial revolution, and career of work, how it's going to be like, what skills do you need to develop? the highest skill that the results are in, the highest skill was creativity and problem solving. Okay, I also have to learn learn to develop my creativity skill. I think I have it. I haven't used it in a while. So I think if I was voting out, that's what I also pick. And the lowest was service orientation. That's good. A lot of us are service orientation. So again, that's the results. I think the highest was creativity, as I said, and complex problem solving, which is good. And the lowest was service orientation and negotiation. So many of us believe that we have that skill. That's good. And there's a video that, again, let's just watch and see the 6 ways where, as you saw creativity, what we all said we need to boost. Let's see, there are 6 ways that we can boost our creativity. It's a short video, a relatively short video. So
it is difficult, if not impossible, to measure creativity, and everyone is creative in his or her own way. However, there are steps you can take to express your creativity more frequently and more effectively. You will need to commit to making creativity a practice. Step 1. Allow yourself to be different, even if it isn't immediately accepted. Be different from what is considered normal. Do not be afraid to ask questions and share your thoughts. You may never know if your ideas are seen as creative by others. Thinking creatively is about being outside the box. Let go of any notions that your ideas will be graded or considered right or wrong. Speak your mind, especially if you think that it's something you would like to share with others. Step 2. Take some time every day to be creative. Creativity is not simply innate, it is something that you learn and train every day. No novelist, painter, filmmaker, or musician ever made a career by simply sitting down and letting the ideas flow. They worked at them, learning their craft and coming up with creative ideas every day. Creative ideas only come during creative work, so get working. At first, set aside 20 minutes each day to work on your craft. You can build up to a larger time commitment as you hone your skills. Even if you don't want to work in a creative field, practicing a creative art like painting, music, etc. every day can help you increase your creativity in everyday life. Step 3. Be curious. Look up anything you don't know. Read books or learn skills that have always interested you. Strike up conversations with people whose stories you want to know. The more material you store in your head, the better creative connections you can make in your life. Step 4. Get enough rest, food, and water. If you're tired, there's little point in trying to squeeze out something creative from your head. Radical ideas may be less likely to pop into your head when you're drained. Take a nap or a tea break to recharge. You can think better when your mind is fresh, and you should be able to come up with more creative ideas easily. Your brain cells need glucose to work well. Try sweets, chocolates, or some snacks. Most kinds of food that contain sugar or starch will become simple sugars in the end, absorbed by your body and used to feed all the cells in your body, including brain cells, so that they can continue to function. If you're dehydrated, there will be fewer connections in your brain. This sometimes gives you a feeling of brain deadness. Step 5. Absorb a diverse array of influence, including those not related to your field. When you're deeply involved with myriad things, you enable yourself to become truly creative. Creativity is about bridging unexpected gaps. For example, taking influences from science and architecture into art. The Beatles are partially famous because of their ability to bring Eastern influences and instruments like the sitar into Western rock and roll. The famed novelist David Foster Wallace wrote his masterwork Infinite Jest after years of studying tennis, drug addiction, math, and the science of light and optics. Travel is a great way to absorb new influences. Go somewhere new and explore your mind for inspiration. If you can't afford to go far, go for a walk and jot down what you see and hear. Alternatively, draw inspiration from a book. Step 6. Relax. You will not have creative ideas every minute of every day ever, but that is okay. When you try to force creativity, you can effectively block it. Don't kick yourself for bad ideas, since they are a natural part of the creative process. Just keep trying to be creative each day and the good ideas will eventually come. I hope you enjoyed this video on 6 steps to make you more creative in everyday life. Let me know how they help you.
Yeah, so as you saw, the 6 steps was to practice just a few things of what he mentioned. It's just to practice and also be curious, so sometimes get to talk to people with a different mindset and open your mind. And just what you're seeing is a CV, which is a lady called Aria Gao. Again, it was part of the research that was done by RBC. This presentation is not to make you know that we are slacking behind, but many of us, especially those in my program, business analysis, when I interacted with them, we found out that many of us are coming from different backgrounds. So this lady, for example, she did a graduate in forestry, study of trees and plants, as you can see on your screen. And when she started working, she didn't really enjoy it and thought it was boring and repetitive. Then she went again to do a master's in using remote sensors. And now she's working as a forestry data analyst. What I'm trying to point out is that it doesn't mean that you have to stop what you are doing, but what we've been saying, you have to be flexible in order that when you are in a field and you think, okay, this is something that if I do, it would help, you go and acquire a new skill. A friend who is probably here, Sanjay, he has a background in the supply chain management. That's where he wants to go. And so, but he's been there and he realized that, okay, they need BAs, they need business analysts, because now it's a lot of data intense. So he's come back to gain some knowledge to merge. And that's what is happening, that you always have to be ready to upgrade your skill and add some. Don't always be stuck where you are. Let's look at the changes in jobs that are happening. We know that some of these jobs will definitely leave out. Now, when you go to stores, if you don't have, Walmart doesn't have a lot of cashiers as they used to. Now they have this self-serve, where you pay everything yourself. Postal service is changing now. Social media manager, as one of our participants commented, is huge. Bank tellers, every bank now has 2 or 3 tellers. So yeah, these are jobs, as you can see, that are eventually disappearing. Travel agents, we have apps that do that now. And these are jobs that are big now. App developer, social media manager, and we have cybersecurity specialists. Entering into the new fourth revolution, this is more jobs that are coming. Drone pilot, this is a big industry, especially now in Africa. I can tell you for a fact that now people who know how to fly drones, they are huge, because we are using that to remap the desert and the forest and the water bodies. And we need people with this. And a friend of mine who was an engineer quit to start a drone company. And that's how come I know about it. And he's doing amazingly well. So he's been able to adapt into the fourth revolution. And you see how much they are making. Machine learning, driverless cars is happening. Tesla, Ford, they are all pushing it. And we even have virtual caregiver. During the COVID session, I had COVID. I was working in Walmart and I wasn't allowed to come in. So I had to call. For the first time, I had to do a medical consultation on screen, which felt a bit weird, but it's happening. And again, the pandemic really sped it. So we have to be prepared for it. And this graph shows up what the skills that are in demand for occupation. And just to focus on the first few, you see that once you are in the role, once you're in the job, the skill of active listening, speaking, critical thinking, reading, and being able to monitor and observe things are on high demand. So this graph just shows you the skills. It was a research that was done, and you see the skills that are now in demand. So in the highest skills, it's all about having empathy and being human, things that robots cannot do, to be an active listener, to be a critical thinker. Robots can get data and extract, they can't really interpret data. So that's another thing. So what do you think of now when you hear the word career after everything? I think that we know that we have to upgrade our skills. And so thinking about your own knowledge and skills through your formal education and experiences, what words comes to mind? So yeah, I'm thinking about maybe I have to get some new skills. I have to eventually be successful in my career, and my attitude towards the future and AI must change. Attitude toward cryptocurrency and blockchain must change. And so that's what it's happening now. So this is the end of the third sessions, and just to leverage so far what we've gathered, you have to leverage your greatest asset. What is your greatest asset? Your greatest asset is you. You as a person, your ability to learn and be able to adapt, be aware. And that's what is happening. Most of the people in Mohawk that I spoke to, they started in one course, they're in something else. They started in one field, they're in something else. And that's our greatest ability as people, being ready to adapt and ready to learn. And don't forget that life, our life is a lifelong experience. So we always have to try and learn and adapt to what is happening. And don't be afraid of the future. The future is bright. All you have to do is be aware it's happening, think of skills you have to gain and be ready to adapt. And all this falls again into how you can manage your money, because if you are not able to adapt, how will you earn some money? If you don't get a career that is needed or open a creative channel, how will you make money, and how can you manage what you don't have? And so in summary for today, we spoke about the fourth industrial revolution, AI, the future of work not being repetitive, but focus on the 3 C's, collaborative communication, and also critical thinking, and being able to work, and then the careers of the future. And so that's what we've been able to gather. The future of work, 85% of jobs are going to be created more creative. And that's all we have for you today. That was our learning objective. What is the next step? So like we want you to research. That's what we're already doing. Where you want to be in the future, you have to create a plan. How are you going to get the skills to be ready for the future? And then you have to think of improving the sector you are in. So thank you very much for your time. Just something to note on that note. In the industries that were facing automation, you realize that it was health and education that had the lowest. And that is because those 2 fields, industry, they need human empathy. To be able to teach humans, to be able to teach children, you have to understand children. And so it's very important. And that was why they are the lowest. So again, we are open for your Q&A and comments. The questions are down there. You click and type in your questions and we'll deal with that. There's again a post survey. We've posted a post survey in the comment section. At the beginning, we mentioned that there's a Tim Hortons $100 giveaway, and you are only qualified when you do the pre-survey and the post-survey, and just enter your email. We won't use your email for anything, only to contact you if you win. So we've posted the post-survey. Thank you, Craig.
Thank you, Samuel. That was a great job on that, and great personal examples as you were going through on things like artificial intelligence and observations you've had. They were great examples, so appreciate that. And as Samuel said, if you have questions, feel free to drop those into the Q&A, and we'll do our best to help answer those.
Your questions, if you have even any comments, what you think about AI or the fourth industrial revolution, just share it with us and let's have a short discussion about it.
You covered it so well, Samuel. No one has any questions. And as Samuel said, if you have comments, if you just want to have a dialogue, use Q&A, use the chat. Anything you want to bring up related to this topic is great.
It's all right. There we go.
Well done, Deb.
Thank you. I think, you know what, when I was listening to the presentation and the messaging around anything that can't be automated is going to become more valuable is really kind of telling, right? That, we're so connected to our computers and everything, but it's those skills that aren't computer related that are going to be, important too.
Yeah, I think that really hits the nail on the head, Deb, as far as the automation. There were some examples given before about dispensing pills in a pharmacy, cleaning at Walmart, things like that. Those are, repetitive, tasks that can be automated, but if you're able to apply your own insights, your own empathy to the situations, Samuel went through a lot of great skills that will be needed in the future. Hopefully the big takeaway from this is there will be lots of opportunities, and hopefully this gives you some foundation to think about how do you take whatever you want to do in your career and find ways for you to be as valuable as possible to employers, to the working world sort of thing. So
Yeah, absolutely.
well, we're not seeing any questions, and I think that was a good attempt to buy people time to do questions and things, Deb. So is there anything?
It's why I'm not very good at computers. So one of the things too is I've shared my slide here. Next week, Wednesday, April 20th is borrowing for the books and managing your OSAP loans. And I think, it's really timely because you're probably either going to be working for the summer or and coming back in September, or, you're going to be starting to have to renegotiate your OSAP loan. So it's a really timely workshop, and the last of our Wealthing Wednesdays for this semester. And we're looking forward to bringing things back in the fall. So I can't put the link in the chat personally because I'm not good at computers. But if anybody wants to put that in the chat, that would be great, because it's a good opportunity to just register today for that.
Thanks, Lindsay.
Yeah, thanks, Lindsay.
Okay, well, Samuel, thank you very much. Thank everyone for attending. Really appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mohawk, for the opportunity to partner with you on this. And as Deb mentioned, we'll have another last in the series next week. And wish everyone the best and great Easter weekend.
Thank you. Take care, everyone. Great job, Samuel.
Thank you. And thank you, everyone, for spending time with us. We really appreciate it. Hopefully, when you have time next week, we'll see you there also.
All right. Okay.
Thank you. Great job, Samuel. I love it.
Thank you.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.